What's up everyone, and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Now, let's change gears and take a look at Conor McGregor goes off on fighters. In response to the Noche UFC main event controversy that saw Judge Mike Bell score the 5th round as a 10-8 for Alexa Grasso, Conor McGregor took to Twitter to question how the judges scored rounds 1 and 2 of his rematch with Nate Diaz, writing, "Was round 1 where I dropped Nate once, and round 2 where I dropped Nate twice, scored 10-8s? They should have been. It was a cakewalk on points." Diaz then responded, stating that he never should have given McGregor a rematch after beating the Irish star on short notice. "When I killed you off, I should have never gave you a rematch. I never get a rematch, especially when I don't really lose like in our second fight, or my last fight. I just let you run off into the sunset like you won. Live with it, you're both." McGregor then responded to Diaz's tweet, writing, "You'll get your rematch, lad." Diaz then followed that exchange up with another tweet, writing, "Nothing better than real wins," which led to the former champ writing, "If you didn't split the skin, you didn't do a thing." Of course, McGregor also had to take aim at his longtime rival Khabib Nurmagomedov, who he referenced when responding to Tyson Fury's plan to move into acting, writing in a since-deleted tweet, "Done it, thought you said the GOAT done it best, lad." As McGregor looks ahead at making his return next year, it's clear that the rivalry with Nurmagomedov and the trilogy with Nate Diaz are not far from his mind. Shout out to our first comments on yesterday's video. Thanks for the support. Now let's take a look at Aljamain Sterling believes Dana White was happy with his loss. Former bantamweight champion Aljamain Sterling believes that Dana White was happy with his loss to Sean O'Malley at UFC 292. As he explained on the recent episode of the MMA Hour, he knows Dana White was happy to see O'Malley win given the push that the UFC has given him in recent years.
I know he was definitely happy. Yeah, how could he not be? I mean, the Golden Goose won in a fight matchup that he legitimately, I hate saying that because then it sounds like I'm discrediting the guy, but this is where they say that 8 or 9 out of 10 times thing, right? So that 1 time out of 10 or 2 out of 10, it happened.
Since the loss, Sterling has continued to campaign for an immediate rematch. However, it's unclear what route the UFC will go in the 135-pound division. With Sterling and Merab Dvalishvili both eager to get cracks at the title, and Sean O'Malley interested in a rematch with Chito Vera, it's safe to say there's plenty of directions for the UFC to go here. Next up, let's take a look at Israel Adesanya breaks silence on Sean Strickland fight. After UFC 293, Israel Adesanya notably kept things short at his post-fight press conference, telling media members that he was going to spend some time with his teammates and loved ones following the event rather than speak at the post-fight press conference. In his absence, City Kickboxing's Eugene Berriman spoke to media members, explaining that he's confident he and the last stylebender can avenge the loss in the rematch. While speaking in a video for his YouTube channel, Adesanya broke his silence on the loss this week, calling himself quietly confident while explaining,
like a bad dream. Like, you know, one of those dreams where you, not even a nightmare. Not, well, a nightmare is like, you know, you're scared. But this is like, that's just not, like, you try and hit the guy and just feels like noodle arms. He just never let me get into my rhythm. Just wasn't able to, like, just get my rhythm because of his pressure. He was right there constantly. And whenever I was setting him up, because he's right there, then his coach would help him. And yeah, it was just good game plan from their end, but also for me, I wasn't able to adjust on the fly.
Later in the video, the former champ played his cards close to the vest regarding his return to the octagon, simply saying, "We'll see," when asked about his next fight. At the same time, it's no secret that Jared Cannonier is eager to get his shot at the belt. During Monday's episode of the MMA Hour, he explained that he wants the next crack at the title, but if the UFC decides to go another direction, he's also open to a fight with Dricus du Plessis or Israel Adesanya.
My argument is I've already beaten the champ. I just beat the number 3 guy. If you don't want to give me the champ, give me the contender. That will be du Plessis, or give me Israel. You know what I mean?
With the end of the year in sight, it'll be interesting to see how the UFC handles the logjam of contenders at 185 pounds in the months to come. Now let's take a look at UFC fighter calls out Islam Makhachev. Mateusz Gamrot is currently gearing up for his highly anticipated headliner against Rafael Fiziev. However, ahead of the fight, he's made it clear that his ultimate goal is not only beating Islam Makhachev, but also proving that his wrestling is better than the Dagestani champs. While speaking to media members ahead of Saturday's clash with Fiziev in Vegas, Gamrot revealed there's only one fight he truly has his mind set on.
I am only interested one guy, this lightweight division. He's wrestler, he's Islam Makhachev, and I believe he will win with Charles Oliveira, and I hope so we meet in the future, maybe next year or two years.
When asked about his wrestling compared to Makhachev's and whether or not he believes his style of wrestling is better, Gamrot said,
I think so. We'll see. I have to meet him in the octagon and fight with him, and then we get the answer who is better wrestler. But in my opinion, I am the best wrestler in the lightweight division. I take him down everybody. This is not problem for me.
Of course, in order for the bout to become a reality, Gamrot has to defeat Fiziev, and Makhachev will have to defeat Oliveira. In addition, Gamrot likely will still have to win one more fight before truly finding himself in the title picture at 155 pounds. Whether or not the stars align for the wrestlers to collide, only time will tell. Next, let's change gears and take a look at UFC fight updates. Starting with an update to the UFC Vegas 81 card on October 14th. According to multiple outlets, Chris Duncan has been forced out of his scheduled fight with Terrence McKinney. At the time of publication, the UFC is weighing the choice to either rebook the fight or find McKinney a replacement opponent. In addition, news surfaced in the week that the UFC rebooked the scrap between Edgar Chairez and Daniel Lacerda following a controversial no contest at Noche UFC. The pair will now run things back on the October 14th card mentioned previously, which will notably see Edson Barboza and Sodiq Yusuff also square off. So far, the UFC has yet to officially confirm the Chairez versus Lacerda rebooking. However, multiple sources have confirmed the news to MMA Junkie. When the two men collide, they'll finally have the chance to settle their unfinished business from Noche UFC. Dana White announces 3 new title fights for UFC 295 and UFC 296. In November, for UFC 295, the co-main event is now confirmed to be Yuri Prohaska versus Alex Pereira for the vacant light heavyweight belt. Yuri hasn't fought since June 12, 2022 after he vacated the title due to the worst shoulder injury in UFC history, according to Dana White. Then, in December for UFC 296, Leon Edwards will be trying to defend his welterweight belt against Colby Covington. Additionally, Alexander Pantoja will be defending the flyweight belt against Brandon Royval for the co-main event of UFC 296. MMA community roasts Dana White. Dana White has never hesitated to boast about the numbers of his controversial Power Slap League. While many have criticized the competition, and in turn White himself for giving it a platform, he has remained steadfast in his belief that Power Slap is here to stay. Recently, after returning from vacation, White spoke to media members following Tuesday's Dana White's Contender Series card to discuss everything combat sports. During the course of the press conference, White stated that the Power Slap mobile video game received 350 million downloads. Immediately, fans began to question the validity of the numbers, given that 350 million downloads would make it one of the best-selling video games of all time. Many began to roast White on social media, with one fan pointing out that 350 downloads would put the iconic game Minecraft's downloads to shame. He wrote, "I can't believe how anyone could believe this bullshit. Power Slap was released less than 2 months ago. Making 350 mil downloads in that time would be a world record. Those numbers put Minecraft to shame." Just to give you a comparison, Subway Surfer was the most downloaded mobile game of 2022, with 304 million downloads across all platforms. One wrote, "I believe this like I believe Jussie Smollett," referencing the false police report filed by the actor years prior. Another took aim at White's infamous altercation with his wife, writing, "Is he talking about his match against his wife?" And another joking that the game actually did 350 billion downloads instead, with a fan responding with, "Can confirm, just bought 4 more PS5s just to house all the extra copies." As another notably pointed out, 1 in 23 human beings has downloaded the Power Slap video game. Not as good as one's global reach, but a good start. While another was left baffled, thinking White was referencing the EA Sports UFC 5 video game and writing, "I thought he was talking about UFC 5. Even then, 350 million downloads is stupid." One fan joked that White has the best job of all time, writing, "Dana has the best job, lol, just get up in front of people and lie." While another joked, writing, "Even he struggled to say that bullshit out loud." Another fan jumped in, referencing the same moment in the clip, writing, "The way his voice cracked in the middle of saying that BS, lol." And another joking, "Our first contact with the extraterrestrials was to tell us how good the Power Slap video game was." Meanwhile, others pulled numbers to disprove White's claim, with one fan correcting his figures and writing, "Just checked and it's around 1 million downloads, which is surprising honestly. You literally can only win by watching ads to slap someone more. That's it." And another fan writing, "The record for most downloaded mobile game is Subway Surfers at 308 million. Amazing that Power Slap blew that record out of the water. Of course, some fans have been left wondering just who is playing the Power Slap game in general, with one fan writing, "Dana couldn't pay me to play that trash." Whether the newest rule changes to Power Slap, which will be on display at the next event on October 25th, are able to help the competition gain traction, only time will tell. Anthony Smith responds to Alex Pereira challenge. After rubbing former middleweight champ Alex Pereira the wrong way with his thoughts regarding Pereira's jump to 205 pounds, Anthony Lionheart Smith wants to make it clear that not only will he be willing to compete against the former two-division Glory kickboxing champ in a grappling match, he would be willing to do so in his front yard today. After Pereira teased a fictional grappling match with Smith on Twitter, along with the caption, "Date whenever he has courage," Smith fired back on Twitter, writing, "Send location." He then spoke about the situation on the MMA Hour this week, stating,
"Yeah, I would grapple him in my front yard right now."
How would it go?
It doesn't matter. I would smoke him in a grappling match.
Based on Pereira's tweet, a grappling match later this year on the same UFC Fight Pass card that George St. Pierre will be grappling on seems to be on the table. However, Smith doesn't believe that Poatan is serious. With the vacant light heavyweight showdown between Pereira and Yuri Prohaska seemingly up next for the former middleweight champ, it'll be interesting to see what, if anything, comes of this beef with Anthony Smith. Sean Strickland announces that he will be fighting again early next year. An opponent for Sean has not been announced yet, but he went to Instagram and had this to say.
Met up with the manager, brought me all the fucking money deals, which is crazy because like a couple months ago I was unsponsorable. Now everybody wants to give me fucking money. It's nice. Anyways, he brought me a good deal, and the fucking deal was that all I gotta do is sign some shit, and this company's gonna pay me really good, and they're gonna take said shit that I signed and sell it to you guys or whoever wants it. And you guys, I've done it before, and I feel so fucking dirty when I do that. So I want to fight early next year, ideally. And before that fight, I want to do a meet and greet. I don't know if it's in Vegas, in California. We'll spar, we'll bring some gloves. I'll sign wherever the fuck you want me to sign for free, man. Fucking love you guys. So I don't know where it's going to be or when, but before my next fight, I want to make this happen. So
Top comments. O'Malley will never be able to handle Volk. He better enjoy his short reign as champ. Why does no one respect Stipe? He's best heavyweight of all time, folks. Yeah, Jones is best fighter ever, but Stipe still has earned our respect. Volk would hurt Sugar. One of the 10-8 round scoring stipulations in favor of the champion is that the challenger is in danger of losing the fight via submission or other reasonable stoppage. While I'm not defending the judge, that did occur in the 5th round of Grasso vs Shevchenko 2. Make sure to leave a comment and you might get featured in our next video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to never miss any MMA news. Check out our video from yesterday if you missed it. See you tomorrow.